Hi, and welcome to Ticket to Life. I am Henry, and if you are a new listener, I want to give you a heads up about what this podcast is about. It's simple. It's about life. The good, the bad, and the ugly. No such thing as a perfect life, and it's okay. Even though some believe that they are living the perfect life, good for them. But trust me, that they have worries and problems like the rest of us. Doesn't that make you feel good to know that not anyone's perfect? Or is that mean? I don't know. But anyway, uh, you're not alone. We all have problems. And our perfect life will be once we are in God's heavenly grace. Oh, can you even imagine? Well, that'll be amazing. But I want to talk about today repetitive relationships. And not just romantic, I mean friendships and jobs. And you probably get the gist of it. Before we start, though, I do have a few things to say. I hope that you all had a wonderful, here in the U.S., Memorial Day was celebrated last week and had a good day with family and a day of rest. And you can thank all of those and remember why we celebrate Memorial Day. It is for those who have died for our country and made it safe for us to live here. So if you if you're curious, you're a woman, why is your name Henry? If you wonder why I got my name or where I got it, listen to last week's podcast on Memorial Day and you'll find out. But the other thing I wanted to say, but I'm always mentioning about scammers because they're around. And I'm going to list on the bottom. I have certain numbers I have always on the bottom of my number, and that's a suicide uh, 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 prevention number and child abuse, national prevention and domestic violence. Well, I'm adding a new number on the bottom of my description, and that's going to be especially for the seniors in your life. And it is AARP.org Fraud Watch Network, or you can call them too at 877-908-3360. And this is for the elderly, mainly anyone who's retired or even young people. May have been scammed about something. Those scammers are out there, and shame on you if you're listening, because I have some really strange places where people are listening, and I'm not sure why. Maybe they're trying to do something with my voice, AI, but trust me, it is an original. I can sound all different ways, so there's no way they can actually copy mine. But I don't know if they'd be able to. See, I'm just a I can do it all. But anyway, so just if you know of someone that may need that phone number, or just give it to them, because a lot of elderly people are being scammed out of their life savings, their retirement, and again, shame on scammers. So let's get on with Ticket to Life. And I do have one disclaimer I like to tell everyone. Um, and it is I am not a doctor, a therapist, a life coach, not a love guru. I am Henry, a wife, a mom, a sister, a daughter, a friend, a podcaster, and a child of God. And everything you hear on these are my opinions. Yeah, I've looked some stuff up, and but I like to give you the facts, only the facts. Uh, but anyway, today's title is Different Faces, Same Story. Some of you may go, oh, what the heck is this about? But as soon as I start talking about it, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I know what she's talking about. But have you ever wondered why you keep picking the same type of friends that aren't so nice and wind up using you, and you don't hear from them after they've gotten what they needed? Or you keep dating the same type of person and get into a relationship that is deep, and inside you know, I shouldn't have gotten so deep in this relationship, because deep inside of you, you knew it wasn't going to work out. No matter what your friends and family said, you had faith that maybe, just maybe, it might work out this time. But friends and family may tell us differently because they see it, or maybe they just want to tell you something negative. I don't know. Some people are like that too. Or do you keep going towards the same type of job and it doesn't make you happy and you feel that this is all you know? Well, guess what? You are not alone. We, at one time or another, have done one of these, if not all three. and may still be doing this to ourselves. Now, let's start off with jobs. You get out of high school and go to college, or maybe you don't go to college and you just don't know what to do. So you get comfortable at the bowling alley and you think, well, I'm happy here. I could just stay here. Doesn't pay much, no benefits. And I'm not knocking bowling alleys because well, when I used to be able to bowl, I guess I could try. But anyway, you get so comfortable with that position, but yet you complain all the time because you're not really happy. You're not making ends meet. You're working way too much, or you have an office job and you have a degree in a certain something. I have a friend whose daughter went to become a lawyer. She is still a lawyer, but that just wasn't doing it for her. So now she owns a yoga studio that is very, very, very great. And she is still she still has her license as an attorney, but she found something that made her happier. And you can too, but sometimes we just can't get away from what we're comfortable with. And that's in any type of relationship. But with jobs, you keep working at the same place and you're just not happy. Or even if you're making enough money, you've got benefits, you got vacation, but you're just not happy, but you're staying there for that. No, I don't want everyone quitting their jobs and be jobless, but if there's a passion you have, look into that passion. Don't just quit your job and say, this is my passion. This is what I'm going to do. Always be prepared. There's always got to be a plan. Write it down. But there is happiness outside of being in that one position. Now, some people, like my husband, a police officer for 34 years, loved it. If he could, he'd go back. I know he would. I know he misses it. But there's just some people who have the passion for what they're doing all their lives. And that's wonderful. That is great. But then there are some that just feel they're stuck. And if you're really unhappy, talk to your spouse if you're married, talk to your parents, talk to friends, and see. Sometimes you can get an insight from someone else, not just what you're thinking. But again, don't go quit your jobs if you're miserable there. Have something already in the waiting. So that's my quick thing on jobs, because we can change. We can change our occupation if it's something we desire or something we really want. And no, you're not alone at any of these three things I'm about to talk about. And that's with friends and jobs and romantic relationships. You're not alone. People are going through one of these things right now as I speak. So just know that. And why do we continue to do this to ourselves? We're not alone, like I said. Why do we stay at that job? Why do we stay in that friendship? Why do we stay in that relationship? And these are my words: comfort. This is all we know. And we know that we can handle it. But can we? We have handled things like this before, and we just get used to it. But we're not happy with those friendships. We're not happy with our jobs. We're not happy with our relationships. And some people can change if we're talking relationships, but we can't change them. Now, if a person has a problem and asks for help, maybe you can help them. But don't pressure someone. Let them ask you. So now I'm going to talk about friendships. This is, God, okay, three things. I'm sorry, my mind's going, woo. And just to let you know, my mind does stray quite a bit, so bear with me. So let's talk about friendships second. So we already talked about jobs real quick. The difference that we have with friends, we have all types of friends, but do you find yourself always being with friends that are selfish or whatever they say is always one-sided? And they love to gossip, and they know it all. I have. And you get caught up in it. And yes, no matter whatever people are saying, we all like to hear a little gossip about someone. But what bugs me is when people gasp and they hear something about someone, they go, and they open their mouth like big bass. That has always bugged me, and I probably do it too. But anyway, nothing can be that bad that you have to gasp and open your mouth like that. Or can it? We all have our quirks, and that's a quirk of mine, or that's a little thing that bugs me. But anyway, I know. So why do we go towards this type of friend? Because again, comfort, and it's familiar to us. If you as a child were always obliged to adults and accommodating to adults and friends, you may have that been so dominated that and controlled that that's all you know. And some people even criticize us, and we think that's okay. And we feel comfort because that is exactly what we know. But how do you think that most people are? And you're used to even though you don't like it, these people are like that. And you're like, why are all these people, most people that I know are all like this, but why? Or know that you are a pushover. And if someone knows you're a pushover, I mean, that's a harsh word for me, but that you can be persuaded or manipulated by others. I've been there. I've been there too on that. Done that. And yeah, it's not good. It's hard for some of us to set boundaries. Why? Because we are kind-hearted. We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You may have a fear of a conflict, and you don't want to disappoint, or simply you just go with the flow, and you don't want to stir the waters and upset them. But in my opinion, the best thing that you can do, and this may be hard to think about, but is your friend really a friend? Can you go and talk to them and said, I'm going to set some boundaries in our relationship? That's very, very hard. And how do you do that? You kind of just start drifting away from that relationship. And if you're brave enough, you can tell them, but yikes, just know it may not go in your favor. I know that this is hard. And if you can take a deep breath and tell them how you feel and try to start distancing yourself from them, remember something right now, what I'm going to tell you, you are worthy of being loved and respected, and you deserve happiness. And if you do get bold, just expect to be part of that gossip. But as I like to say, if you're talking about me, it's a good topic. You can't worry about what people think about you and if they like you. There are plenty of people who don't like me, but life goes on. You don't deserve to have these people in your life. You just don't. You deserve to have good people in your life. Now, here's a short story. And this is when I was younger. And I had a good friend and she started taking advantage of me and watching me watching her children. So she could go out with her friends or other friends or with her husband. And we were pretty much best friends. And she would ask if I could babysit. And we actually babysat for each other's kids. But at one point, she was always asking me, and I didn't want to say no because her kids were like family and I kept them safe, and she knew it. So I would take really good care of them as though they were my own. So one day she called and asked if something was wrong, and I just came out and told her. But the only time she was calling was to ask me to take care of the kids, and I felt as though I was being used. She apologized and she felt bad. She sent me a letter in the mail. It was really sweet, but I threw it away. It was a long time ago. Sometimes you just have to call people out because they don't realize it, that they're nasty or they're taking advantage of you, or they realize that you no longer want to be that pushover friend. We're still friends on social media, but you just need to know that it is very important for you to know you are worth having good friends. Make a list of friends, of what you want out of a friend, because that's important. And if I know that I'm all about lists, I'm always making lists, but if you write it down, you're going to say, "Hey, wait, they're not on this. There's 2 things out of this 20 things that they are nice to me for." But I know it sounds crazy, but life is short, and you need to have good people in your life. I need to have good people in my life. Otherwise, you won't be in my life. I mean, it's that simple. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just a fact, people. It's just a fact. But anyway, that's my take on repetitive friendships, or different face, same story, because we continue to go towards the same type of friendship. Maybe some people just like someone controlling the friendship. They don't need to make decisions. But still, that doesn't make them happy in their relationship as friends. By the grace of God, I've been blessed with many friends. And I'm sure they talk about me too, because friends do that too. But I know that they would always be there for me. They just would. Now for the one many people have been waiting for, repetitive relationships, romantic relationships. Now, I must have been, no, I know I have been here and done this on this one, what I'm about to share with you. But why do we keep choosing the same people? Sometimes the faces change, but the story stays the same. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? For those of us who have done this in the past, the faces change, but the story stays the same. We explore cycles of repetitive relationships, just as we do in bad friends. It's that repetitive thing that we're comfortable with. But why do so many people find themselves dating the same type of person? Why? I don't know. It could be abusive. It could be taking advantage, that you're a pushover. And we still do it, just like friends. Now, this goes for men, not just women, because men can be pushovers too, and women can take advantage of that. You date the same type of person over and over and over again and wind up with the same outcome. They compliment how beautiful you are, or how handsome he is, and that's all they need to hear. Is this why? People, we are gravitated towards compliments. I know I am. And compliments in a relationship, because they serve a shortcut to validate safety. I have been accepted. Instead of slow and vulnerable work of getting to know someone, compliments release that instant feel-good chemical. I know, I love it. And you can feel it. It makes you smile, makes you feel good. You tell your friends, "Oh, yes, he said this and he said that, or she said that, and she blah, blah, blah." Okay. Confirming the attraction and easing the anxiety, that's what that does. Or whether you are accepted or desired. And like I said, it's no great rejection. They find you attractive. Or it gives you that, this could be it feeling. Again, been there and done that. I have had a problem, I think, listening to myself say this. Just kidding. But maybe I did have a problem at one time. But hearing myself, I did. And I'm thinking, certain times in my life I did this. And again, from the emotional patterns formed like in friendships in childhood, to comfort that feeling you have that, okay, I'm just used to this, because we do have it. So just again, like in friendships, this dives into literally a psychological view of toxic cycles, attachments, the red flags, the ding, 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 the bells ringing, we ignore. And the fear of starting something different, because it's hard. It is hard to look for a different type of person that you're familiar with. A different type of relationship where you are in control of. Now, not crazy control, like you want to know what's going on 24/7. but control of what you actually want in a relationship, helping ourselves heal from the broken hearts, self-awareness, and boundaries can break unhealthy patterns and create room for what we want in a relationship and make it healthier connections for ourselves. Whether it's friendship, family dynamics, jobs, romantic relationships. This episode is a reminder that if you can recognize patterns, the first step toward changing for your happiness. This is it. This is the first step. Because sometimes the hardest relationships to fix is the one we have with ourselves. Because sometimes we don't think we're worth it. We're just worth settling. And we're not. Again, you are worthy of being loved and respected. We all are. So that's my take on different faces and same story. And I hope I help someone out there with what you may be going through. I've had several friends go through this. I've had family go through this. It's just happening. It just happens. We just get comfortable. Well, like I said, let's coming to an end, and I want you to know I'll be praying for you, even those scammers to mend their rotten ways and not take advantage of good people. But I will be praying for all of you listeners in need of prayer. And I hope to see you next week. And thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really appreciate it. And like I love to say, go find your blessings. Our blessings are around us each and every day, be it your job, be it your friends, be it a romantic relationship, or the roof over your head, food on the table, and the love of family. Most of all, the love of God. So go find your blessings. See you next week.